As I pushed the bright red BCD deflator, I slowly sank, and for a split second, I could see both worlds right in front of my eyes, until I fully submerged into an underwater world. Except the first few things that I could see were plastic wrappers, plastic bags, but most of all, plastic bottles. That's when my friend and I decided to make a competition about who could collect the most plastic during the dive. The amount of plastic made me feel like I was drowning in it. I can't even imagine what it feels like for the marine life. That was the moment when I decided to make a difference. In ancient Babylon, 2,800 years ago, the Romans regularly made offerings to the gods. They would burn meat and other produce on top of a big hill so that when the smoke entered the sky, the gods could enjoy the festivities and food with them. Unfortunately for them, on one of these occasions, it started raining and the fire went out. What happened after that was interesting. All of the meat, fat, ash, and grease from the fire, ran down the hill and entered the streams that fed Rome. Back then, the women would wash their clothes soap-free, as soap had not been discovered yet. On that day, a few women came to wash their clothes, and they realized that the water wasn't as it normally is. It started to form bubbles. After they were done with washing, they could see that the fabric was so much cleaner than it had ever been before. They cleverly worked out that all you need to make soap is rainwater, ashes, and fatty meat. The Romans were not willing to wait for it to rain, so they started making it themselves. This allowed them to wash their clothes whenever they wanted. This was the invention of soap, and after many, many years, people started mass producing it so it was available for everyone. Soap is a fantastic discovery and continues to be part of everyone's day-to-day lives. What isn't so good is that the soap we use every day for hand washing, shampoo, and dishwashing is packaged in a plastic container that roughly lasts 6 weeks, but then gets thrown away to take 450 years to biodegrade. Yes, 450 years. Not only are the containers harmful, but the chemicals we use are extremely harmful to us and definitely to our environment. Soap is everywhere, in our shops, in your bathrooms, and even on your skin. While I was investigating the issues with plastic packaging, I recognized that most of the companies using more natural or organic packaging were also using more natural ingredients inside their soaps. This is when my investigation shifted to issues with synthetic ingredients used to make soaps. I have used bottled soap my whole life, yet I never knew what was actually inside the soap I was using. We use soap to wash our hair, our skin, and all of our sensitive parts, as well as our clothes, dishes, and animals. We don't realize that the ingredients in most soaps are really bad for our bodies and our waterways. From my research and experience, I have noticed that the majority of people are oblivious to what chemicals are outside their soaps, like lauryl sodium sulfate, palm oil, and chemically made fragrances and colorings. Let's start with lauryl sodium sulfate. LSS is a chemical that is used for cleaning. In soap, it is used to make the soap froth. Foam or froth is not needed for soap to work. In fact, the less foam in your soap means the more soap is actively at work to clean your body. Next is palm oil. Palm oil, as we know, is a huge problem and a major driver for deforestation. Palm oil comes from a fruit of an oil palm tree. Animals and their homes are dying just because of one unnecessary ingredient. Lastly, fragrances. The fake smell that is in everything nowadays is actually really bad for you. Chemically made fragrances can be harmful to human health, causing skin irritation and respiratory distress, which involves wet lung and even cancer. They smell so good, but so fake. All of these go directly onto our biggest organ, the skin. On the other hand, we are much more aware what's inside the food we consume, but ignorant of what soap contains. I became fascinated with why something so simple as soap has nearly always been marketed in a plastic container containing unnecessary chemicals, which enters our environment daily on a global scale. Why has this become so complicated and harmful? One answer is profit margins, and another is ease of production. Profit margins are the ratio of a company's profit divided by its revenue. Revenue is the amount of money brought in by a company's operations measured over time. And seemingly in today's big business world, this is all these companies focus on. Soap is something we use every single day, so I believe making it good for the planet is imperative, rather than making it a very easy money maker for big pharmaceutical companies. It's these companies that have convinced us through marketing that every shower needs shower gel in a bottle. I think making everyday products not only good for our skin, but good for our world and climate is incredibly important. I also think humanity is scared of climate change, and people are scared about what is going to happen to the planet. I am also scared, but I don't want that to stop me from making a difference. Let's start one shower at a time. We're the problem, and we can be the solution. I recently discovered the invention of soap on a rope, which is a sustainable bar of soap that can hang anywhere, in the sink, in the bath, or even in your shower. It was invented in the 1940s because people didn't like their soaps becoming soggy. I made a sustainable soap on a rope brand named Ixxy soaps. I'm trying to put soap on a rope back on the map, but also focusing on sustainability and, of course, beauty and functionality. My products are made with all natural colorings. For example, for my butterfly pea soap, I used real butterfly pea petals, which to my surprise made a brown color. People don't realize that we don't need to use fake and unnatural colorings to make a nice color. I would love Ixxy soaps to attract bathers of all kind. I think people would really benefit from understanding the issues with unnatural soaps and the unsustainable operations and packagings. In my process, I researched and tested different types of packaging. I really thought that soap needed packaging, especially on a shelf in a store. I learned the cost of using a paper product, both financially and environmentally. I wasn't satisfied with this. I decided that my soap product does not need packaging. And I'm happy to report that my soaps have been sitting on a shelf for over 2 months, perfectly fine. It took a process of unlearning and relearning to realize that as a society, we don't actually need packaging in some scenarios to be sanitary and buyable. It reduces the carbon footprint of my product in the most sustainable way. I would like to give some appreciation to my mum for being my rock throughout this process, and my mentor from the Barley Soap Company for teaching me everything I now know today. I would like to thank the whole of Grade 8, but especially Ibu Jackie, Ibu Nicola, and Pac Dave for giving me this magical experience. As an Indian proverb once said, "Only when the first tree has died and the last river has been poisoned, the last fish has been caught, we will realize we cannot eat money." Thank you. Thank you.